So let's commence. Maseches Bov Metzia Daf Lamed He Amud Beis. We have a Mishnah. Asoicher Poro Mechaveroi. The person rented out a cow from his friend. Rented a cow from his friend. Rent a cow. So, by the way, before we continue, just want to say something about what I said 2 days ago. 2 days ago, I said that a person who comes out to be a liar in Beis Din, who lied in Beis Din b'Shvua, may be disqualified for life as an aid and as a dayan if he wants to take the honest profession. So parents sort of asked me / corrected me, maybe the person can do tshuva. That's true. It's true, maybe he's able to do tshuva, and then it's not for life. There's discussion in the Sanhedrin in the third page. Says the Mishnah, says the Mishnah, says the Mishnah, says the Mishnah. Says the Mishnah. A soicher po mechaveroi. Yeah, a person is soicher poro, a person rented a car from his friend. Now let's assume, and so says Tosfos, that a soicher is a shomer socho. Okay? He's a shomer socho. He rented for money. Yeah, rent a cow. He needs a cow for 100 days or so, and now he rents it from his friend. And you know what he did with it? Veshilo le'acher. And he lent it for free. Sheila means by definition for free. He lent it for free to another person. Okay, so Reuven, basically, who is the renter, he lent the cow to Shimon. Umeisa kidalka. It died naturally. Now, to die naturally is not meis machmas melocha. If the animal died naturally, that's oines. It's not my fault that he died. It's time, old age or heart attack or whatever there was, sudden something happened, and therefore it's called oines. And what happens then? That's a shoyel, and that's oines. A shoyel is potu from oinsin, and a soicher is, excuse me, what did I say? A shoyel is chayv oinsin, of course. A shoyel is chayv oinsin, while the soicher is potur me oinsin. So now that's very interesting. This soicher is a wheeler dealer. What did he do? He took his friend's cow that he rents and he lent it to somebody else. Okay, says the Gemara later on, that was under the permission, that was with the permission of the original owner. Yishava soicher shemeso kedalka. Let the soicher be nishba. Let's say the soicher saw what happened. The soicher now goes to the owner. The owner is angry. The owner says, "Where's my cow? He died. He died natural death. You're saying it's oines, and you, Mr. Soicher, your potter, swear, make a shvua. Let the soicher swear shemesa kedalka." And now the soicher is off the hook. Why? Because if it's be oines, which it was, and let's say we believe him, it was oines, real that was the case. Oines, darka. The soicher being a shemer soicher is potter me oines, and life is good. Wait. What about the shoyel? The shoyel, he's chayiv to pay someone because the shoyel borrowed it legally from someone, from the soicher, and he died by him. Be'oines, he's got to pay. Who does he have to pay to? Machloikes. Says Tanakama, v'shoyel yishalem l'soicher. The shoyel should pay the soicher. Wow. The bailim is out of the picture. The real owner is out of the picture, and the shoyel pays the soicher who l'maisa lent it to him, which means his business is not with the original owner. His business is with who? Is with the actual person who gave him the animal. And the Gemara will explain it more. Yeah, says that's the first opinion. Omar Rabbi Yosi says Rabbi Yosi argues and says no. How can one person do business with his friend's cow? You lent it, you Mr. Soicher. The cow does not belong to you, Mr. Soicher. Right? It's true that you, the Soicher, you, let's say Reuven, you gave it to the shoyel, but you're not the owner. So the mice said you're making money, so to speak, on the back of the owner. Right? When the shoyel pays you for a cow, there was never yours. That's what Rabbi Yossi says. Ella, therefore says Rabbi Yossi, tachzor po lebailim. The connection is direct between the shoyel and the bailim. Get it? In other words, there are three people here. The bailim gave it to the soicher, who in return gave it to the shoyel. Says Rabbi Yossi, the soicher is out of the picture completely. And therefore, what do we say? The shoyel has to pay the bailim directly. In other words, the machloikus, simply putting it, is that Akama believes that the shoyel is obligated. The shoyel is accountable towards who? The one who gave him the cow, the one who provided him with the cow, because you should know every time a person is a shoyl or a soich or any other shomer, there's kinyan meshicha, which means the beginning, the commencement of the she'ela was between when who, the kinyan, the act that officially makes him a shoyl was between the soicher and the shoyl. So says Tanakam, the shoyl owes it to the soicher, not to the owner. The Sheikh obviously says, no, I don't care about who did the act. I care about what? I care about who owns the cow. The one who owns the cow is the bailim, and don't make business on my back, says the bailim. And therefore, the borrower who owes money owes it to the bailim. That is one way of understanding it. However, we're going to see in the Gemara a deeper and better way to get it. Says the Gemara, 1 second. Says the Gemara, Omer Avidi Barabin LaAbaye, Michdi. At the end of the day, Soicher b'may koni l'haiporo. The Soicher, how did he acquire the cow? Which means, how did the Soicher buy the cow keilu? Why is the Soicher pushing the Bailim out of the picture? And the Soicher says, now I'm instead of you. We're talking according to Tanakama. According to Tanakama, the Soicher steps in the shoes of the owner, behaves like the owner, and gets the cow like the owner. How did that ever happen? Shvua. L'choira, it happens through shvua, right? In other words, because the Bailim comes to who? The Soicher. The Bailim says to the Soicher, I don't know your shoyl. Stop talking to me about the shoyl. You be nishba to me or pay. So what does the Soicher do? He takes a shvua. What's a shvua? That he died be'oines. Let's say he knows. He saw that he died be'oines in the house of the shoyel. It happened b'shvua. He takes a shvua, and then he's off the hook towards the Bailim. And now he's laughing all the way to the bank, while the shoyel pays him the soicher. Okay, the shvua, frek the Gemara, that's the key point. The shvua is what made him the bailim, so to speak, the soicher. The name maskir le soicher, the maskir, remember the word maskir. Maskir is an owner who rents out. The one renting out, the cow owner, should tell the soicher, excuse me, dal ant, the dal shvuosach. You go away, dal is kilu to be removed, to go away. Dal ant, you go. The dal shvuosach, your shvua should also go away. I'm not interested in your shvua. I mishtein adin about the shoyl. I want to talk out the din. Lishtai is like to speak. I want to have the din. I want to do face to face with the shoyl. You're telling me you're acquiring it because of your shvua. Why do you have to be nishba? Not that I like to listen to your beautiful voice making shvua. I'm the one who is asking you to do shvua. Don't take shvua. I'm ignoring you on purpose. Don't take not shvua, not payment. You're not part of the deal. I'm going to talk directly to the shoyl and take the money. And you know what? Says Tosfos, that's exactly the svara of who? Of Rabbi Yossi. What we just said now, I think it's Tosfos, other Rishonim, they say, Tosfos says that is Rabbi Yossi's reason. Rabbi Yossi says, let the soicher, the middle guy, the macher in the middle, let him get out of the picture, because the maskir can tell him, I'm not interested in you, nor your money, nor your shvua, nor your love, nothing, and I'll talk directly to the shoyel. Omar lei, but why didn't Tanakama think that way? We're now in the head of Tanakama. Omar lei told him, do you think that the point of Kinyan, the soicher becomes like the owner, happens at the time of shvua? Yeah, when actually took the shvua, and therefore the shvua can be removed and the soicher is out of the way, and only the shoyl is around? No. Really, if you see everything from the bird's eye view, from the eyes of a Kadosh Baruch Hu, from the eyes of reality, what was the point in which the soicher got out of his responsibility towards the Bailim? When was that? When the cow died. The cow died be'oines in the farm of the shoyel, and that happy moment, the soicher, in oines, no chiyuv and of oines. So really, the soicher vis-a-vis the Bailim is not mechuyev to answer to the Bailim right from the death of the animal, and that is not something that's up to the Bailim. It's not up to the Bailim. What do you mean? I'm not interested in talking to you. Yes, I am potter because the animal died, and that's nothing to do with your choice. Why does it take shvua? No, shvua, which is a choice of the maskil, shvua is a side thing, is a lateral thing. Shvua is only kedelahafis daito shabal abayis. Chachamim said that the person, the soicher, in our case, should take shvua in order to appease the mind of balabais, to keep the balabais calm, to keep him calm and happy and tranquil, and Kamel calculated the Baal Bayis should stay calm, knowing that nobody's lying. It's a way to affirm, to assure that nobody's lying. That's what we take Shavua. But the Shavua, which is the choice thing of Baal Bayis, is not what really makes the Soicher yes or no. That's not the game changer regarding the Soicher. And then let's repeat now. So according to Tanakama, can you give them enough? According to Tanakama, the Baal Habayis really cannot say anything to the Soicher. The Soicher says it's reality that the animal died. I'm potter vis-a-vis you, and you're out of the picture. You're out of the picture. You dealt with Mr. Soicher. That's me. A. How did the animal die? Oines. Soicher plus oines is bad news for you, Bailim. You're out of the game. Ever play chess? You're out of the board. Now, the only one that stayed on the board is me and the Shayel. Why? Because really, the Shayel and I did business. Yes, I rented him. By the way, I didn't try to do business. I let him for free, by the way. Yeah, I give him for free. He got it for me. He's going to pay to me. That is what the Tanakama holds. Rabbi Yossi thinks no. Rabbi Yossi believes differently. Rabbi Yossi says no. Really, it's the Shvua that makes the Baal Bayis and the Soicher interact or otherwise. And therefore, the Baal Bayis can tell the Soicher, as long as you're not Nishba, you're still in the picture. You're still in the picture, and you cannot, now take from the Shoyel. Not still in the picture. It's still up to me to move you out of the picture and go directly to the Shoyel. No, I'll say it better. I am still in the picture, says Baal Bayis, according to Rabbi Yossi. That's really what I should have said. I'm still in the picture. The only way to get me out of the picture, says Baal Bayis, the maskir, is if you take Shavua and then say, goodbye, Mr. Maskir, get out of here. Now it's between the Soicher and the Shoel, between the two of us. But says the Baal Bayis, no, I will only get out of the picture if you swear. Don't swear. So I'm staying in the picture because I was not yet satisfied. It's not over till the fat lady. It's not over till you are Nishba, and don't be Nishba. And therefore, I'm staying in the picture as a Toiveya, because I'm not accepting your shvua, and therefore I'm in the picture, and I will say, at the end of the day, who did he die by? He died by a shal. I'll take straight from the shayel. That's the explanation of Tanakam and Rabbi Yossi. Yes. Up, okay. The Kenyan, okay, officially, sorry to be like a classroom teacher, but let's summarize again in light of the question we just had now in the short question session. Basically, it's like this. According to Tanakama, the Soicher, Maskir, and Shoyel in that unhealthy triangle, what happens? According to Tanakama and Achinami, the Maskir is out of the picture. Why? Because once the animal died by the Shoyel, the Maskir is not the owner anymore, is not involved whether he likes it or not. Now, the Soicher got the obligation, you can call it Kinyan, not Kinyan, with your question, which I respect, Lamaisa, the Shal was mischayev to the Soicher. He's the one who gave him the Torah with permission from Rabbi Abbas. He's the one that he is accountable now, the Shal to the Soicher. Rabbi Yossi says no. Rabbi Yossi says, when the Balaam gets out of the picture, the Maskir, only upon listening to a Shvua. Says the Maskir, I don't hear your Shvua, Mr. Soicher. It's not going to work out for me well, right? I don't be out of the picture. I want to be in the picture with the Shoyel. Because the shoyel is the person who actually will give me money, even though he was honest. I'm not listening to you, and I'm staying in the picture, and I want to deal with the shoyel. Oh, now we come to Omar Abzera. Not the easiest Gemara I've ever seen in my life, but it's not so difficult either. Once we get the gist of it, I think everybody here has a chart, and I'm going to have one online too. Okay. I'm now going to read the Gemara from the inside, and on the screen, we have the chart attack. Okay. Says the Heilige Gemara. Let's just repeat what did Tanakama say. We're following Tanakama now. Okay. It's all nice and clear and nice and easy. Tanakama said what again? If, there are three people. How many people here? There are the Maskir, the Soicher, and the Shoyel, right? Okay. So then what do we say? We say that if the Maskir rented out to the Soicher returned to the Shoyel. Now we say that the Shoyel pays the Maskir. So a person doesn't even have to be the full owner. And I respect your question, Rabbi Yehuda. I'm going to find out about it. But the Maskir is dealing now with the Shoyel. Basically, with this complicated or seemingly complicated chart, it's not so hard, he's dealing with, and we're going to see it obviously in the Gemara, is about what happens when Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde are together. In other words, what happens if the same person is the owner, who is the maskir? Maskir is always the owner, the one renting out, the owner of rent-a-cow. Don't you know him, Chamyanko? He's the big rent-a-cow guy. He has a website, rentacow.com. Now, this guy, the cow owner, also is the borrower. He's the same guy. How could that be? Wait and see. Let's see it in the Gemara and go nice and slow, and everything will be very, very clear. Zuk the heilige Gemara. Omer Rabbi Zera. Yeah, we'll read inside the Gemara here. Omer Rabbi Zera. Pe'omim shabaylim mishalmin kama poros l'soicher. Wow. Sometimes an owner may pay a few cows, up to 3 or 4 cows even, or even more. The bailim pays the soicher. Wow. Up until now, the entire life, we always knew a soicher, a shoyel, and the 2 other friends, the shomrim, they pay or don't pay the bailim. Look at this. Topsy-turvy. The bailim pays the soicher, not only 1, possibly 2 and 3 cows, he has to pay to the soicher. Hey Chidami, how could that be? Hey Chidami, what's the story? What's the deal? Says the Gemara as follows, it's all good. Angra minei mea yomi. Stage number 1, he rented from him 100 days, which means, look at the chart, 100 days. Shimon is the owner of the cow. Shimon is the owner. Remember, Shimon is the loser all the time here. Shimon is the owner of the cow. He said he's renting it out to Reuven for 100 days. Okay, who is obligated to who? He's supposed to provide him now with a cow for 100 days. Let's say the cow dies now, after they agreed already. Yeah, let's say dies in the hands of the soicher be'oines. Let's say the cow drops dead, heart attack, a minute after the agreement was done, the Meshicha. Then who has to pay who, rabbis? Shimon has to pay Reuven. Yeah, rent a car, right? Avis, you enter the car, you go to the parking lot, and right away the car is not starting giving problems. Give me another one right now. I paid the credit card. I paid you. That's so simple. That's for 100 days. By the way, as if you saw the note at the beginning, this entire twisted conversation is happening within 1 day. Yeah, this whole back and forth 4 times is taking this time the same day, and the cow died at the end of that whole story. Continues the Gemara. Okay, that's stage number 1. Yofi. Continues the Gemara, and the Hadar Shaila Minei Tishin Yomi. What happened next was then 90 days period started. Reuven, says Rashi, yeah, Shimon asked the Reuven, the renter, I know I owe it to you for 100 days now. Do you mind lending it to me for free for 90 days out of the 100? Yeah, I want now 90 days out. 10 I'll give you at the end of the period. Give it to me now to borrow for free for 90 days. What would happen if the cow dies now? Tell me. Be'oines, Shimon is a shayel. Shimon is 2 people now. He's the maskil, and thus he owns who? He owns Reuven, a cow, in case he dies, because he has to provide him with a car. Yeah, rent a car, needs to provide and give good service. Secondly, also, now how many days does he owe him now? Only 10, because 90 days is borrowing out of the 100. But the Lamaisa, if the cow dies, and he also happens to be, he's a shoyel. As such, he also, had he died, he owes him also a cow as a shoyel to pay him back. Ironically, yeah, Reuven now, the shoyel, owes the renter a cow, a real cow for life. Because Lamaisa, we said what? We said that if you're a soicher who gave a shoyel, the shoyel owes the soicher, right? So even if I'm not the owner, says Reuven, I am your mashil. Yeah, I am your mashil, and you're the shoyel. You owe me a cow if it died by accident. So right now, in the period of 90 days, there's already a potential debt in case of death of the cow. There's potential debt with a B of 2 cows. If he dies, you are chayv because you're shoyel, and also you chayv to provide me the remainder of the 10 days, which I am a renter for, which I did not lend you. I only lent you for 90. That is section number 2. We just did section number 2. It's so easy. Now, opala, again, what happened? And then the Hadar Shaila Minei, Vadar Angel Minei Tamnan Yomi, comes Mr. Reuven and says to Shimon, I know you are the shoyel now, and you're also the owner. Out of your period of 90 days, I want to now rent it from you for money for 80 days. That, by the way, didn't have 80 days. The Mishnah just want to keep symmetry. Okay, all very nice. That, by the way, doesn't make any difference, except for that now. The Adar Shalim Shivin Yomi. Now he came, and what happened next? Yeah. Now, out of the 80 days, what's happening now? Now, Shimon will rent. Now, Reuven, in the remaining 70 days, yeah, because his lent is cow to Shimon, Shimon is the borrower again. This is crucial. Basically, don't lose sight over here. What happened here is very simple. It's the same person, Shimon, who twice became shoyal over one cow. It's one cow. It's Bessie with that little speck on the left ear. Lemaisa, there were twice over a beginning of she'ela period. That's why we had to speak about the 80 and 20, which is number 3, which is less relevant, to create a situation in which, yeah, out of the borrowing, there's another schirus. From that schirus is born another, like a babushka doll. There's another she'ela period, second she'ela period. That's stage 4 in the story. And now Shimon again is the borrower. And by the way, if the cow dies now, and he died, look at the Gemara. And then what? Boom. He died within the 70 days. At some point within the 70 days, he died. Now he owes him what? What does he owe him? Again, let's repeat. That's for sure owes him a new cow, that's for sure. However, says Rav Zera, and I'll respect questions later, says Rav Zera as follows. Says Rav Zera, De'akol she'ela v'she'ela mechayev chad aporo. He has to give him 4/3 cows. I'll explain what's 4/3. He has to give him 2 cows. Why? You can't say it's the same cow again and again, although it is, but because there were twice, yeah, in the stage of 90 and stage of 70, if you follow the chart well, every time there was a renewed commitment, yeah, to what? To be a shoyal. So even though it's the same cow, it's the same day, and it all happened within one day, it doesn't matter. There were twice over obligation. And as such, you have to provide, if the cow died, the cow only dies once, can't die twice, yeah? Can't kill a cow twice. But the Maisa, I don't care, it's one item. Your obligation is 2. Why did they say 3/4? What did he mean, this guy? I'll tell you what. If you remember, look at the Shavon Salach of 30 days and 10 days. Remember what happened then? I told you, at stage 2. Have a look at stage 2. What happened in stage 2? Had the Kai died at the beginning of stage 2, then there would be a chiyuv to complete the 10 days. Because, right, you, Shimon, owe me, yeah, Reuven the renter. Remember, Reuven the renter. It's easy for English speakers. Reuven the renter is still owed 10 days at the end of the horizon. They're not given. And again, between 80 and 70 days, what happens then? At the end of, he died at the 70 days, you still owe me 30 days. Why not 30 days? Why not completely 30 days? I'll tell you why. Because Lemaisa, there's only 10 days owed because it's 20 minus 10. Right? There were 20 days before, and 20 minus 10 is only 10. So Lemaisa, there's 10 days from the first time, yeah, which is basically 100 minus 90, and 80 minus 70 is another 10. 10 plus 10, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is 20. And therefore, what does he have to give him? He has to give him 2 cows for the fact that one cow died, and that cow, you imagine on the back of the cow, there's a double chiyuv. Shoyal first period, shoyal second period. Besides, he has to to give him for the worth of his money. He also has to give him, I wouldn't say 2 cows, he has to give him 20 days for usage. Besides that cow, you also owe me, besides compensating for my cow that you stupidly, dropped and you failed, you also owe me to end the termination of the contract. I borrowed from 80's 100 days, yeah, and then again minus 90, whatever, and then again 80 minus 80. Avis owes me stam 20 days of driving, right? From the first period and second period, stam because you're maskil. So all in all, he owes him 2 cows that are forever and 1 cow times 2, which means to use for 20 days. 10 days for the first ischayvus and second set of 10 days for the second ischayvus. Wow, look guys, that's amazing. Aren't we in love with the charts? Baruch Hashem. Very nice. So that's basically what Rabbi Zera says. That's the opinion of Rabbi Zera. Now, Omer le Rav Achmed Difti Ravina. Rav Achmed Difti tells Ravina something because he doesn't like that concept. Yeah, and he holds like, as you see in the chart in the bottom, like Marbar Avashi. He's asking as follows: Michdi, at the end of the day, Chada Porohi. For heaven's sake, it's one cow. It's one cow. I love the Apka. It's one cow that goes in and out. Apka mischirus, the cow keeps changing status, going out of schirus, the Ayla Lashela, coming into She'ela mode, Apka mishe'ela mode, and then it goes out of She'ela mode of borrowing for free, the Ayla Schirus, going into Schirus mode. But at the end of the day, it's really only one cow. And therefore, says Rav Achmed Difti, I don't buy that business that even though one cow died by one person, he owes twice. No, I don't go by periods of she'ela, by the amounts of obligations created. I go by the hefza. I don't go by the maisa or by the gavra, if you want to sound yeshivish. I go by the hefza. At the end of the day, these are two people here, and only one cow at stake. Maybe the schirs he owes him more, by the way, that could be. I think so. It's much more like that from the Rishonim. But the two obligations of the she'ela, that grits on the ears of Rav Acha. He says, no, it's only one cow. Omer le, so then he responded, is the Porah alive that you can tell him that? Which means he supports the opinion of who? He supports the opinion of Rab Zera. Rab Zera basically says as follows: had the cow be alive, then you can say that. Yeah, it's only one cow, so it does make a difference. But if the cow died and that cow already had one obligation, one period of obligation of she'ela, when he pulled it once, I'm getting very graphic over here. At the beginning of stage 2, back to the chart. Beginning of stage 2, then Shimon pulled the cow from Reuven, making a schayvus. Again, there was rental. So again, Shimon becomes more of a balabos over here as a renter. Yeah, and then again, stage 4, Shimon pulled it from Reuven. So those two Mashiachas, do we say no? It's ki'ilu, there are two cows. The cow is gone, and it has two obligations, as we say in Hebrew, mulabash aleh, as if it's dressed in it, as if it's fixed on it, and therefore I'm not giving in. Now, however, Abba Avashi supports the opinion, as we see at the end of the chart also, en lalen elashte porois, only two cows, and that's what I told you before. Now it's being clear about the other point. Chada de sheila, the chada de schirus. Oh, that's clear. One cow for the two periods of sheila. One cow for the periods of sheila. I support the opinion that holds a cow is a cow is a cow. It's one Bessie with one sad look in its eyes and one speck in the left ear. It's one Bessie. The fact that you obligated yourself twice, I'll give you a good mashal by Mechavrus, although he took it somewhere else. Let's say, I'm asking you a question. If a person is oived chas b'shalom, avodazara b'shoigig, he didn't know that you're not allowed to, bend out to the getchka in his Reform synagogue. They told him it's a very nice thing to do, whatever. Shoigig. Let's say the person is shoigig, and what happens with him? He bows down to the pesel. How many? Once with one mistake. How many chatois does he have to bring? Why two? One. He sinned once in his life. He once in the trip to India. Why? One. He made a mistake. He thought it's not a get. Well, that's all the story how he could be shoigig. He thought it's okay. He bowed down. Then he realized he wants to atone for his sin. Now, how many chatoros? One. Let me ask you a question. You know how many times the Torah warns you against the Avodah? I can't count. The whole of Chumash Dvarim. You can't go 5 psukim without a warning against the Avodah. 1 billion times. And I'm sure there's a number. I don't remember. Maybe you know. Yeah. Why? Same thing. The fact that I repeat the same thing twice, it's one act. And that's what Marbar Vashi says. It's true that I obligate himself again and again, but the cow is a cow. Right? Mashenk, in the other opinion, the first opinion of Rab Zera says no. Every time I obligate myself, it's not a din in the cow. If you notice, it's very nice. It's similar to the Chakir we said at the beginning of the Mishnah. Why is a shoyel chayev? Listen to the Lomdish Chakira, which may or may not be wrong. Yeah, maybe right, I hope. Does a shoyel pay because he obligated himself, right? I hereby, Mr. Reuven, or in this case, Shimon the shoyel, I obligate myself again and again. You chayev per each time. Yeah, that's like, doing two of the zors, two separate things. Or do you say no? I have to pay because the cow died, ba'oinus. And I was mischayev as a side thing. At the end of the day, if you say it's because it died by me, ba'oinus, then it's chayev, regardless of how many times I'm chayev. That could be the chakira. And the schirus, also one. He says one. Which one? Could be 20 days. That's true. But Lamaisa, he only owes him one cow for schirus, one cow for sheila. Achasi, of shum schirus achasi. De sheila kani legamre. The one that he gets back, Mr. Reuven, who is what? The renter. And we said that the renter becomes full owner, legabe, getting from the shoyel. It's going to be his cow, legam, forever and ever. That's what we said in Hebrew, forever and ever. The cow will be his until he dies. Why? It's compensation. It was Ki'ilu, my cow, as a maskil, died by you, Mr. Shoel, it will be mine forever, even though the schirus wasn't mine forever. Big chiddush. But that's what the Mishnah says. The maskir is out of the picture. I'm the owner now. I'll get the cow forever. The schirus of legame. The schirus, the one of the schirus is different. The cow that still has, excuse the pun, the tail end of the 90, the tail end of 70, which is 20 days, of a you have to do the days of the schirus. You have to rent it out for him now for free, of course, because you already paid. You have to now give it to him once for 20 days, and he'll use it for 20 days, Mr. Reuven, and then it will go back to the owner, to Shimon. Beautiful. Baruch Hashem. Questions or comments, or we continue? Continue. Says the Heilige Omar Birmia. Oh, before we continue, I want to give an introduction and take you back a little bit to Bava Kama. Don't panic. It's the easy part of Bava Kama. You tell me what kind of korban, maybe remember your vague memory in one of your gray cells, what kind of korban does a person have to bring if he lied? Nice. Good answer. Depends what. Very nice. If the person was nishba l'sheker, let's say I come to you and I swear to you, the last night I went to Cyprus. Yeah. And then what happens? Yeah, two Adim come and they say, no, we saw Kiva in his house last night. I actually went to sleep early last night. So you guys are going to say, ooh, what a liar. We've been listening to this guy's shurim all the time. Oh, yeah, he's lying. That's a very big lie. But does that have any financial nafkamina for you? No. Whether I've been to Cyprus or not doesn't make any financial difference. I stam made a lie, a fib, and therefore what? I have to bring which korban? Chatas. A person was nishba l'sheker, not stam a lie. If I swear to you, Sefer Torah, without Sefer Torah, lo mishane, I made a shvuat sheker that something happened in the past or something will happen in the future and I did not fulfill it. I swore to you that I ate pizza last night. I didn't. I have to bring korban chatas. Let me ask you a question. You're on the ball. You're on the ball, Yosef. Wait. What happens if you lent me money, right? And I come to Yosef and I say, Yosef, and you really lent me money, and I lie to your face. B'shvua, and I say, Yosef, I swear to you, b'sefer Torah, that I don't owe you any 100 shekels. Yeah. What kind of korban do I have to bring? And I admit it with all the conditions of the kama. Which korban? Osham, chomesh v'osham, with the fifth, with the fifth, or the fourth, yofi. I have to bring an osham, yofi. So basically, now we're going to play a game, so to speak. It could also be a very, very nice chart, but I'm already charted out for today. So now let's play the game without the chart. Amel birmia. Now, pe'omim, sometimes sheshnehem bechatas, which means the shoyel. Who are the people who are making shvua here, my friends? In the Mishnah, the Mishnah spoke about Mr. Owner, and then there's Mr. Shoichel and Mr. Shoyel. Now he died. Mr. Maskir Owner is fuming with anger, coming to Beis Din. So now they both made the shvua, right? The Soicher, let's say, has to make a shvua. He's not giving up on the shvua. The Soicher would make a shvua to who? To the Maskir, and the Shoyel to the Soicher. We're talking here to Nekama, not Rabbi Yossi. Sometimes, let's say they both lied. Let's say both Soicher and who? Shoyel. Let's say they both lied in their statements. They came out liars, eggs on their faces, oy vavoy, no shidduch from my daughter. And what happens next? Now we're going to play variations on a theme or a formula with variables. And it's really easy. This one's really easy. Sometimes shnei bechatos. Sometimes the two lies that they both made are not no nafkamina of finances, of choshen mishpat, so they would both have to bring chatos. And soon the Gemara will elaborate everything. Beautiful statement, everything is elaborated. Lamed Vov. Sometimes both lies of the shoyel and the soicher are with a moment nafkamina, are moment oriented, and they have to bring osham. case number 3, or variation number 3, formula number 3. Sometimes the soicher is the one that has to bring a chatas which has no enough kamina for money, and the shoyel osham because the shoyel really stole money with the shvua. Third variation. And the fourth variation, as expected, is sometimes the soicher is the one who's getting off the hook financially because of his shvua and he's got to pay osham, and the shoyel only has to pay. I mean to bring, yeah, chatos, because his shvua didn't make enough kamina. Let's get it rolling. These were the formulas. Now the Gemara will detail each and every case, and it's very easy. Says the Gemara as follows. Okay, how could that be? First of all, the Gemara gives us the introduction, which I told you before. Tfiras momoin oshom. A person who's koifer, what's a koifer? He denies, a denier. A person who denies money. What kind of money? Anything. Yeah, you lent me, you stole from me, you hold back my salary, and the guy lies through his teeth and he swears to it, he has to pay an osham. Yeah, he has to bring a big ram to base a mikdash and also a quarter of the price back. Bitu is fasai chatos. A person who is bitu is fasai, mustam, makes up stories which have no mamanik nafkamina, which means, let's say I say that something happened and I went to Japan yesterday and actually I didn't, surprisingly. I have to bring you a korban, not you. I have to bring Hashem a korban chatas. What kind of chatas, by the way? It's one of the only 3 or 4 chatas oil b'yored. Yeah, the chatas depends on my financial situation. Now let's get rolling. Oh, when could it be that both of them made a shvua, by the way, in BSD? Wow. They both made a shvua which they thought would have a halachic nafkamina, but doesn't have a financial nafkamina, so they only have to bring chatas. What is that case? No. Let's read it already. Kegoin, for example, shemesa kedarka, that's oines. What really happened was oines. What kind of oines? He died in its sleep, peacefully. I'm so happy. Bessie the car died in its sleep. The Amru, and the both of them lied and said nensa, and they said it was nenas in a more dramatic way. They thought they're from some reason getting out of murder, but excuse the pun. They say, let's say nensa, they list him. They told us a tall tale. From some reason, don't ask me why, okay? They wanted to. Yeah, the people, both of them said the same version. Yeah, how do you say the time deal so? To say the same version. No, when 2 people lie. No, when the 2 people lie, they say, let's say the same lie. There was a word for it in English. What? To duplicate the version. So now, they both said as follows. Oh, you know that he died in the barn? Let's tell the owner that a big robber came from Shechem, and he's the one who killed it. Okay, let's say. So now, none of them, there's no enough kamina for neither of them. They're lying for stupidity, shtiyot. Soicher, what's a soicher? Soicher is a shomer socher, so we passed it. The benkach u benkach miftar, right? Potu, bechatos. The soicher, whether it's this oines or that oines, is potter anyways. A soicher is not chayv on oines. No, soicher doesn't have to pay if it was beyond his control. So he's potter anyways. So his lie was for nothing. It's not lying. What does he have to bring? Chatos. Shoel. The shoel also is foolish. The benkach u benkach you be mechayev also bechatos. The shoel either way, both ways, has to pay. Why? Whether it's this oines or the other oines, he has to give chatos because he anyhow has to pay. The soicher is exempt in both cases, and the shoel is obligated in both cases. It's chayev. But none of them changes status because of the shvua. That's classical chatos. Tick. That's number 1. Number 2, the second formula. Sometimes it's the same case, by the way, and both of them became potter they wanted to lie, and there would have been enough kamina from the lie. They have to bring an osham. For example, shenignevo. Let's say it was nignevo. In other words, stolen the level of gneva va'aveda. Yeah, gneva va'aveda, they're both chayiv. Whether a soicher, and obviously a shoyel, needless to say, shoyel is always worse. If it got stolen and you should have done better, it's a second grade negligence. You have to pay, and that's what really happened. They're not stupid, these people. They know how to lie. They spoke to the Turn Rabboni, and they said, oh, they said, no, it died while working hard. Did I explain to you what's Mesa Machmas Malacha? I'll explain again. Mesa Machmas Malacha means the shoyel or the soicher. By the way, shoyel and soicher are the only 2 people, remember, that are allowed to use the person's animal, right? The Shomer Chinam, Shomer Socher are allowed to touch it. The Shal and the Socher share one thing in common, and that is it died while we used it normal use, right? It died while we used it normally. I swear. I used it normally and it died. I had no idea that your cow would die while plowing a regular field in a nice sunny day in the spring. And that's what they swore about. And it would be potter that both of them are now denying real cash. Why? Really, what happened was Gneva. Both Shomer Socher, which is Socher in this case, and the Shoyel are really, really chayv. They're lying. Hashem knows that they're lying because the Behema was really stolen. And really, what do they say? And they say the kapatri of Shayu. They really are telling me, no, he died while we worked with it the normal way, within normal use. Liars, liars with money. And if we believed your lie, you really would have to, you'd get off the hook. And therefore, you have to bring korban osham. Osham is the korban for those who lie with enough kamina of money. We're trying to get rid of payment with the lie. Third variation, when it's half-half, that's the third variation or the third formula here. When would there be a case when the soicher would only have to bring chatas, which is no monetary enough kamina, and the shoyl osham because there is enough kamina for money? Kigoin shemesa kedarka. It died kedarka. That is what beoines, right? Oines. Who's chai beoines? Who's potter? Anybody? Mesa kedarka is oines. He died in its sleep in the barn. A soicher is potter. The shoyl is chayev. Yes, yes. The Amru, and they are smart, they have learned Bava and of Metzia, and they said, Mesa Machmas Melocho. They said it's Mesa Machmas Melocho. Yeah, which exempts both of them. Wait a second. But Soicher, what do you mean exempts? He was potter to begin with. The Benkach Miftar. Then Potu, right? Therefore, Chai Bechatos. Miftar Potter, Chai Bechatos. A Soicher, whether it's Oines or Mesa Machmas Melocho, in both cases, the Soicher is potter. So the Soicher thinks he's smart, but at the end of the day, his lie was for nothing. He was Nishbal Sheker, didn't even gain anything. Because even if he would have said the truth, really he would be potter, because Oines potters him. Right? He said, is not enough community, it's from Ptur A to Ptur B. You stam a petty liar. You have to bring chatas. Shoyel, no, Shoyel is a smarty pants over here. The Michayev, the Mesa Kedalka. Had Shoyel said the truth, he would be jolly well chayev Mesa Kedalka. Why? Because it's oines. Oines is chayev. Shoyel chayev oines. The kapot nafshe b'Mesa Machmas Malacha. Oh, he is really getting off the hook with his lie because he's telling me no, he didn't die by oines. He died while he worked with it in the field, and I swear to you, and that's why he's pattering himself by osham. He has to bring in osham because he's really getting off the hook over here, and that's osham. Fourth variation to the story. Fourth formula. Soicher be'osham, v'shoel bechatas. When would there be a case in which the soicher would have to bring the real deal, the osham, because he's getting off the hook and exempting himself from money, and the shoel is only chatas because his statement with shvua didn't really make any difference. When would that be? Keep going. Shenigneva. Now, nigneva is what? Obviously, both shoel and soicher are chai b'gneva, right? Who's the soicher? The shomer soicher. By the way, Tosfos says that over here is the proof. You can see the Tosfos on the top of the page. Here's the proof, says Tosfos, that the Soicher is a Shomer Socho. Because there are those Tanoim and further who say that the Soicher is a Shomer Chinam. But let's ignore that. Shomer Socher is the Soicher is the same for now. Kegoin Shenigneva, the animal was stolen, so obviously both of them would be Chayev. The Amru Mesa Kedalka, and they said, Oines, I'm sorry, they don't admit that he lied, that he was stolen, and it was their fault for, watching TV while the thing was nignav, and they're telling you a lie that it's Mesa Kedalka. What's Mesa Kedalka? Oines, he died peacefully in the barn. Where is the body? The dogs ate it. Now, Soicher, who the Mechai B'Gneva V'Aveda, the Soicher, he's really getting off the hook over here with the Shua. Had it been Gneva V'Aveda, which it really was actually, then he's really Chayev. He really owes money, the mister. The kapota nafshe b'mesa kedarka. He's telling you a lie that really gets him off the hook because he's saying what he died kedarka. It's oines and potter. He had a nice talk with the Turn Rabbani. He told him what to say, and he swore the sheker with enough kamina la halacha. The osham, of course, he has to bring an osham. Yeah, he lied with money. Shoyel, the ben koch chiyuv mechayev. The shoyel is stop talking nonsense because the shoyel be'oinus doesn't help you. Shoyel says no, it wasn't stolen, wasn't nignav, it was oinus. So what if it was oinus? Thank you very much. It's oinus. Lemaisa, at the end of the day, yeah, you still you chayev both ways. Then the chatos, then he has to bring korban chatos. Back to the Gemara, one very very sharp, strong question, and the question is as follows: My kamash malan. This was very, very nice cheshbon, was a nice game. If I would have to play this with kids in cheder, let's say, yeah, to sort of test your knowledge of, the different chiyuvim in Shalom Secher. But what's the chiddush? There's no chiddush over here. We know about korbanos, what's chatas, what's osham. We know it from many other places. It's in Bava Kama, it's in the Torah already, right? And these are, you're only playing, so to speak, you're gamifying the Gemara, which makes people very attracted to learn Gemara. But Lamaisa, what is the chiddush for the Gemara over here? Answers, and who are we attacking? Rabbi Yirmiyah. He's the one who said it. Yeah. Answers the Gemara, there is a chiddush. There is a chiddush. La pukim de Rabbi Ami. The statement we made over here is a chiddush because we're coming to argue here on Rabbi Ami. What did Rabbi Ami say? Says Rabbi Ami Azoy. The Omar. Kol shvua shadayonim mashbim oiso. Yeah. If there is a shvua that a person has to take in Beis Din, and he was forced in Beis Din to be under oath, it's not a shvua, that the person took in Kolel. He told his friends a story. I ate 10 pizzas last night, and I swear to you. If it's a shvua, that's a serious shvua in Beis Din, under Beis Din's, every shvua is serious. That's a shvua forced by Beis Din as part of the procedure against the other person. Such a shvua, ein chayov in eleh mishum shvuas bitui. You're not chai because of shvuas bitui. Wow. Get what I'm saying? In other words, if you took a shvua in Beis Din, and at the end of the day, the dayanim, after you said the shvua, say, hey, let's say he came out, he was a liar. They say, the guy was nishba, with all seriousness and all the drama of the courtroom drama, and the dayanim were mechayvim, but he didn't really say anything. Then there's not a queen, give me one of the many examples. The shayel. The shayel said, I hereby swear that he didn't die, he was taken by robbers. Okay. And then it came out that he did die. Stam a liar. So if that lie takes place in Beis Din, he does not have to give the regular korban chatos of a regular lie called shvuas bitui. Yeah? Why? Sheneamar, it says, oy nefesh ki tishava, I repeat, if a person, a nefesh, a soul, ki tishava, swears by his own accord, levata b'sfasayim, to pronounce in the lips, ki tishava me'atzma. In other words, Rabbi Ami says that if the person takes the oath willingly, not because the dayanim coerced him or coaxed him or prodded him, he wants to take a shvua regularly, or a shvua that has nothing to do with money, or maybe shvua outside Beis Din. He said, let's not go to court. I'll swear to you here in the barn between you and me that the cow died this way, that way, and then the shvua has no nafkamina of money. He has to bring chatas because from his own accord, because again, if you remember, we said many times, chatas is the person's own process of tshuva. It's between him and Hashem. But if the dayanim are the ones who forced him to take a shvua, and then he took a shvua that has no nafkamina for money, then of course osham he doesn't bring, obviously, but even chatas he doesn't bring. Korban chatas is only for shvua that is not taken in Beis Din. Very nice. Which means what? Oh, now we're coming in with saying, no, says Rabbi Yirmiyah. I mean, Rabbi Yirmiyah does elaborate quite a lot, but Rabbi Yirmiyah says, I'm not a Rabbi Ami fan. Maybe I'm a fan of him, but I disagree with the statement. Because what did Rabbi Yirmiyah really say? Through all the different twists and turns we had over here, one thing was clear. These shvuas were taken in Beis Din. And even though it's in Beis Din, and all these shvuas had no financial, halachic, money, nafkamina, you still have to give the korban chatas. That is not Rabbi Ami, and don't tell me that's not a chiddush. It's a wacko of a chiddush. I, Rabbi Yirmiyah, I disagree with Rabbi Ami. Rabbi Yirmiyah was who? He's the one who was always very exact. Remember, he's the one that kicked him out of his medrash because he asked the question about, the 2 feet of the bird, one here, within 50 amos. It was all these questions are always very, very yakish. Here also, he's like misader everything. He makes a chart of everything. Okay. Questions, comments? No? Continue. You're all good? Fine. Itma. We're going to only begin this today. We won't go very far. This sugi appears also in Bava Daf Yudalef from the base and in Daf Nun Vav. Says the Gemara, Itmar, and this has to do with our Mishnah. Shomer shemosel leshomer. Not going to details. I gave my prized cow. You know, many cows. One cow I gave to Mr. Reuven the Shomer. Then Reuven the Shomer, without my knowledge, gave it to Shimon the Shomer. I'm not talking about a borrower for now. I'm talking about one Shomer giving the other Shomer, and then he died, and something happened. But the second Shomer, I'm being very general, without saying Shomer Chinam Shomer Sachar, and how did he die? Let's get very general, and then the Gemara will zone in and focus. One Shomer gave the other. Rav Omar Potur. Rav says that if he himself was the Shomer, then what Rav says, the first one is Potur. Yeah. In other words, if let's say I'm a Shomer Chinam, okay, and I'm Potur from Gneva Vaveda, I gave it to another Shomer, and I'm not talking now what happened with the second Shomer. If I am now a Shomer Chinam and I'm exempt from Gneva Vaveda, so and it happened by Gneva Vaveda by the other Shomer I gave it to without the Baalim's permission, then I'm still Potter. I'm still exempt. Wow. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Chayev. Rabbi Yochanan says no, he's Chayev. He's Chayev, says Rashi, even be'oinsin. Rabbi Yochanan says the Baalim fuming angry. Who allowed you to give it to another Shomer? You And therefore, even if Shomer Chinam, whoopa, you're being raised. What a nice raise. You're being upgraded to be like a shayel. You have on everything, even honest. How did you give it to another guy? And you have on everything. That's gadol. Generally, Mechlekes Rav and Rabbi Yochanan. And of course, we need a lot of explanation here. Let's go nice and slow. Omer Abaye says Abaye, trying to analyze the different cases and opinions over here. L'taimei de Rav, according to Rav, what did Rav say? Potur. We're not saying what Rav says. If I was Potur from Neva Vaveda, I'm a Shomer Chinam, and I wasn't nice, and I gave it to another Shomer, I remain in my own level of Ptur. I'm the same as I was before. I'm not obligated just because I gave it to another guy. Says Abaye like this, according to Rav, Lo mi bai Shomer Chinam, Shemosel Shomer Socho. Wait, if I'm a Shomer Chinam, and I looked after your candlesticks while you went to Chutz La'aretz. Who looked after your candlesticks? Your wife, yeah? So now the candlesticks, I wanted to go to Chutz La'aretz. I'm the Shomer Chinam. I gave it to Shomer Socher for money, right? And I'm paying him the Uli Eilel Shmirosoi. Then, of course, Rav makes a lot of sense, Rav says, because really, Ilui Eile, I upgraded the level of Shmira. Again, Reuven gave Mr. Shimon, the Shomer Chinam, candlesticks to look after. The Shomer Chinam, who's not getting paid as volunteer, is upgrading the Shmira. But doing what? Giving it to Levy, Shomer Socho. Very nice. So he's upgrading the Shmira. And now something happened by the Shomer Sochar. Let's say it's Gneva Vaveda. The Shomer Chinam, vis-a-vis the Baalim, I'll be Potter. You're shouting, why did you give it to somebody else? I upgraded the Shmira. Say thank you. Ella, that's not even a Chiddush. Ella, we want a Mechadish more in the opinion of Rav, says Abaye. Afilu Shomer Socho, Shemosel Shomer Chinam. Wow. Downgrading. Even if the first Shomer Sochor, he downgraded the Shmira by giving it to a volunteer, the Grui Gavel Shmira, he is downgraded and made the Shmira worse, is still Potter, still is considered Potter, and we're not going to be Mechayiv more than the original Chiv of himself. By time, and why is that? Damasol ben das. Wow. Rav is Mechadish, a tremendous thing. That is what gave it to Ben Das. As long as they gave it to another Shomer, even though there's been a slight downgrading in the Shmira, but as long as Shomer number one, who's answerable to the Baalim, gave it to any other normal person who is an adult, I assume a Jew, and he's a Baal Das, that's enough, and he's Potter. We're not going to more Svaras now. That is the Svar of Rav without understanding more. Rav says, if I'm a Shomer and I was not completely neglectful, I did not neglect it. I gave it to a Shomer, even though it was a Shomer Chinam. A Shomer Chinam, by the way, should know also has obligation, right? Shia is Mechuyev, so that's good enough. Ula time of Rabbi Yochanan. Let's now switch sides and inspect Rabbi Yochanan a little bit. Ula time of Rabbi Yochanan. Now Rabbi Yochanan says you're always chayiv. With Rabbi Yochanan, we are, so to speak, angry with the Shomer who gave it over to somebody else. Lomi by Shomer Socho, Shmosel Shomer Chinam. Not only Shomer Socho, who's a high level, and he downgraded, gave it to Shomer Chinam, the Grui Gar L'Shmirosoi. Of course, if a Shomer Socho gave it to a person lower than him in the echelon, who's only a volunteer, of course it's called already. I don't know if he calls it Shia or not, but that's for sure. He's chayiv on that. Even if anything happened to Oines, you chayiv on that mere fact that you gave it over to a worse kind of person. You chayiv on whatever happens. I don't want to hear anymore. Says the Bailim, endorsed by Rabbi Yochanan. Ela, filu shomer chinam, shemosel shomer socho. Even a shomer chinam that gave it and upgraded it. Oh, forget, gave it to a better shomer. He gave him a better shmira. Still chayev. Wow. Still, the Bailim can say, no, I am angry with you for giving it to another person, and therefore you have to pay me, even if I've upgraded it for anything, even oinsin. Why? Omerlei says the Bailim to the first guy who gave it over without permission, I just don't want my deposit to be by the hands of another person. Oh, wow. In other words, I don't want my pikoden to be by other people. The Gemara Bava explains, and I think the Gemara later also explains, I didn't see, it's also a matter of shvua. Yeah, in other words, I want my pikoden to be by you, not by him. Why? Because maybe, although the other person is more upgraded than Shomer Sochor, we all know that by Shomer we always have the issue of shvua. Right? Yeah. So money is not everything. It's also about, do I trust him to make the shvuah? In other words, you are shomer chinam and I trust you. You're a good guy, or so I thought up until recently. I thought you're an honest guy. So you shomer chinam, but I know that I can trust you about what's going on. The facts are clear and you're transparent. You gave it to that guy, to that wheeler dealer, the kind of guy, the schwindler kind of guy. His shomer sacher, I don't trust him for shvuah. So it's very nice he has to pay more, but he'll get off the hook when he was quicker than you. I don't want him to be by other people who allowed you to give it to him b'chalal, and therefore you always chayv. That's the gadol, the machlokes between Rav and Rabbi Yochanan. And Metzia Hashem, we will continue in the morrow. Shkoyach, Godel, question time, and the shir is officially over. Thank you. Atzlocha Rabo.